Several commenters have indicated that they've had some issues with the cereal bar cookies and the crumbliness, so I wanted to kind of tell you and walk you through how I do it so that you can get a little bit of a feel for what might be happening. I start with rolled oats, as you can see in the background, and I use an immersion blender or a food grinder or something to meal my oatmeal up because my son doesn't like the texture of the real oatmeal. So I use my KitchenAid immersion blender on steroids, as I call it. I also use butter. I think one of the things that could be happening is if some of you are substituting margarine. Margarine doesn't hold up as strongly as the butter does, and so you might want to try using actual butter if that has been the case for you. If not, you also want to make sure it's softened, and then you can see the different textures. So that's the oatmeal that we started out with, and then this is kind of the fine texture. When I use my grinder, it actually is a little bit more of a floury rather than this is kind of like coarse meal, but I can use this as well. And then I'm going to mix all of my ingredients together in a bowl. So I'm going to pause the video and show you how I do my mixing. Okay, I've pre-measured my ingredients, but you can see I have my softened butter in there. I'm going to add my oatmeal. It's 1.5 cups of oatmeal flour, or ground oatmeal. I'm using wheat, a cup of wheat. That was actually hard red wheat that I ground. A cup of flour, white flour, and a cup of sucanat in my case, or if you want to substitute brown sugar, you can do that. If you'd like to do less sugar, that's fine too, but that's what the recipe states, so I'm going to do it. And then I am really just going to use my hands. So it's going to take me a little while, and we probably should play some music during this portion because it's probably going to take me quite a few minutes, but I am going to basically try to work the flour into the butter as much as possible. I obviously washed my hands before I did this, although you will notice that I forgot to take my ring off, which I typically try to do before I start this process. So this is how I like my dough to be before I break it or move on to the next step. So I kind of make it into one giant ball. Some things are flaking off, but not much. And then from here, I'm going to divide it in half. So it's going to crumble a little bit there. And then I'm going to make my my little oatmeal balls. I have found that recently that if I make 18 balls from this half and then 18 balls from this half, then I have even bottoms and even tops for my cookies. So I just break a little bit off and make it into a ball and keep moving on, and I count 18 from this half. If I don't have 18, I might take a little bit from one and put to the other. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video because I don't think you want to see me make 36 balls, but I will show you the finished product. Okay, so I have my oatmeal dough balls ready. So as you can see, they're not necessarily perfectly round because I know I'm going to smash them all. So I just want to make sure that the dough is equal. And so now I'm ready to start with my muffin tins. And so I'll just put one ball in each of the muffin tins. I tend to use the ones that are a little bit bigger on the bottom. If I have some bigger ones, obviously I've pinched a little bit of that one off. It's okay to adjust if you need to, but I'm going to fill, this is a 12 muffin tin, get 12 muffins out of it. And so I'm going to take them and I just am going to smash it into the bottom. Like so. It doesn't have to be super pretty in my mind. It just has to cover the bottom and not be any cracks in the bottom so it doesn't leak out the bottom. I like to create a little bit of a lip on the top so that there's a little bit of an indentation in each one. And then I'm going to continue doing so. Obviously, some of these have more dough than others. Some of it kind of cracks a little bit. But again, you know, it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. This just kind of helps me in my technique. So I'm going to continue doing this, and when I get this all finished, I'll show you how to add the jelly. Okay, so I'm ready to add the jelly. You take about a tablespoon of jelly, give or take a little bit, depending on how deep your pivots are, and you just add it to the mix. It's a little bit much, so I'm going to take a little bit off and add it. This is blueberry, organic blueberry preserves. Again, see, I don't want a ton. I don't want it to seep out everywhere, but I want to make sure that we have generous portions as well. And once these are all filled in, you take your top, one of the oatmeal balls that you have left, and I just smash it in my hand. So I use the palm of one of my hands, the other one, just to create a little bit of a circle, and then I place it on top here, and kind of, now you can see there's a crack there, but just kind of smooth it over a little bit, and then I kind of dent in the sides a little bit. My son's not too fond of cracks, so I try to clear those when I can. Okay, I have all of my muffins ready to go, and as you can hear in the background, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees, so I'm going to stick them in for about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to check them about 20 minutes to see how they're doing, make sure they're not getting too dark, and then I'll pull them out, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like straight from the oven, and then after they've cooled, at what point I take them out. So this is the cooked product straight out of the oven. You can see one of them had a little bit of an explosion from a crack, but otherwise look pretty good. They're not super golden brown, but they're cooked, and I think they're looking good, so I'm going to let them cool for about 10 or 15 minutes. I want them to be I want them to start to harden up. They're not a super soft cookie, so don't kind of expect them to be. When I think of a cereal bar cookie or a cereal bar, I think of something that's soft but rather firm, and so that's kind of what these are going to be like as well. So right now they're super soft. If I tried to take them out, they would absolutely fall apart. So we're going to hold off for about 10 or 15 minutes. So as you can see, they're done. I've been letting them sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm just going to take my knife, put it in there, loosen them up. As you can see, it's a nice little cookie. I'm going to break this one in half so you can see. It's I actually had pre-broken it, sorry. My son talked in the last video. But you can kind of see they're real soft. They're not super hard or anything. They do harden up as they sit over time, so you want to be aware of that. But they're really good and still have a lot of baked goodness in them. So I'm sure your kids will love them too. Hope they do, and I hope this video helped. So this is the finished product. Enjoy!